Hey everyone, thanks for viewing this video on bonding of propane piping in recreational vehicles. I'm Mick Sass, a senior inspector for the RV Industry Association. What exactly is bonding? Simply stated, bonding is the same thing as grounding. The difference being that items that are bonded are not part of an electrical system. Some of the most common items that are bonded to chassis on an RV are things like the metal roof and siding, or the iron pipe and copper tubing of the propane system. For all of these components, a path to chassis ground must be provided in the unlikely event that one becomes electrically energized. So remember that grounding and bonding are basically the same in that they both provide a path to ground for stray electrical current. Bonding and grounding both save people from being electrocuted. On the other hand, grounding is for components that are part of the 120 volt electrical system. This includes items such as metal J-boxes, converters, and transfer switches. These components must be grounded to chassis because they could become energized simply by being a working component of the 120 volt electrical system. But for today's topic, we will concentrate on bonding of the propane piping components. Metal components of the propane system, like all other metal parts of an RV that could become energized, need to be bonded to chassis. This includes propane piping in the slide-out portion of an RV. So, let's look at the two common methods of bonding the propane piping system to an RV's chassis. The first method utilizes a listed bonding or grounding clamp seen here in the photo. This bridge clamp can be used in a couple of configurations depending on the diameter of the pipe being bonded. Connected to the bridge clamp is a number 8 gauge wire, which can be either solid or stranded wire. With either type, it must be a listed wire. The use of listed wire assures that the circular mill area, or the diameter of the wire, meets the requirements of the National Electric Code. On the other end of the copper ground wire is a listed grounding lug secured to the chassis with a self-tapping screw. Along with the self-tapping screw, a star washer will assure that continuity is established between the copper lug and the chassis. Here on the left, we see a bridge clamp attached to a standard iron pipe of a propane system. In the illustration, we see a standard installation with both halves of the bridge clamp positioned with a concave side gripping the pipe. In an alternate method used for bonding smaller copper tubing, one side of the bridge clamp is reversed, as seen here, to accommodate the copper tubing's smaller diameter. Both methods are acceptable and part of the bridge clamp's listing. The second method commonly employed to bond the gas piping system is the bulkhead connector. This brass fitting, seen here in the photo on the left, is installed through an appropriately sized hole in the chassis frame. The fitting is then secured with a nut and a star washer that bites into the painted frame, providing the necessary electrical continuity or bonding. When you take a closer look at star washers, they are designed to bite into the painted surface of a metal component, thus creating electrical continuity. Star washers can have either teeth on the interior surface or the exterior edge of the washer. Both will bite into the paint, providing the needed electrical continuity. Now let's look at bonding of the slide-out components of the propane system. In many RV manufacturers within the last several years, rubber propane hose has become a common replacement for iron pipe and copper tubing. In RVs of this type, there can be absolutely no metallic piping in the slide-out at all. This makes installation of propane appliances in these slide-outs somewhat easier because no additional bonding is required. However, in some larger slide-out kitchens that have multiple propane appliances, some iron pipe and/or copper tubing may be used to distribute the propane. In those cases, additional bonding will be necessary. Bonding of propane piping in the slide-outs requires providing a path to chassis ground on the main body of the RV. As seen in this photograph, a stranded number 8 bonding wire is attached to both the slide-out piping, seen on the left, and the main body of the RV on the right. Listed grounding clamps are used on both ends of this number 8 bonding wire that connect the slide-out piping to the main body of the RV. Another means of connecting the bonding wire to the main body of the RV is by a simple grounding lug. This is done by attaching the ground lug with a self-tapping screw to the chassis of the RV. The required star washer assures that continuity through the painted surface of the chassis will be provided. Now, there are some installations, as seen here, where an L bracket holds both the iron pipe and the brass bulkhead connector. In these situations, the star washer is needed to bite into the paint on both the L bracket and the chassis frame to establish the required continuity. Also, when the slide-out has metal framing, continuity may already be present. This continuity may be through the slide-out mechanism itself or through the slide-out rams that support the slide-out when in the open position. In that case, as seen in the photo on the right, bonding of the slide-out piping can be done in the slide-out itself without having to run an additional bonding wire to the main body of the RV. Thanks for watching this RV Industry Association's standard training video on bonding of propane piping systems. Please feel free to view all of our training videos available here on the RV Industry Association's Standards YouTube station.